she's in four-wheel drive at the moment. What I'm going to do before I go any further, put the handbrake on standing. Actually, I can't even reach it. Now, when I'm in this position with the sheep, obviously I can't shear it, right? Not only is this impractical, it also doesn't look very good. Do you have to take pictures now? So, don't push back, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is put her on her bottom. Right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, gosh, it's a big sheep. Now, when a sheep is on its bottom, that relaxes. How can you tell if a sheep is relaxed? What do you think? Tense. So you do all the hard work, holding the animal with your legs. Now this one is heavy, I'm out of breath already, but the hands is working, easy job. The right hand just takes the wool off. Nice and simple. The left hand has got the most important job. Now, any kids in the audience, have you seen Dad when he shaves? He can put his skin nice and tight, doesn't he? So he doesn't cut himself. And Mom can do the same thing with her legs. Pulls the skin nice and tight. Now that's what I'm going to do. My left hand needs to work on the skin of the sheep all the time to make sure that that skin is tight, right? Because if the skin is tight, there's no wrinkles. If there's no wrinkles, there's no cuts. That's the left hand job. Don't you cut that sheep, simple as that. Now, to help us, she put a couple of little buttons. She's got a lovely leg extension here on the back leg. So if that leg was in there like that, right, and I wanted to get it out nice and tight, I just use this little button here. Right, ready? Very useful button. Let's see. So you've got a very impressive one on the front leg. We call this the karate kick. Right, ready? Oh, so they can hard to get there. Yeah, look at that, steady return. One more time for the people there. Wait a minute. Hey guys. Now, those little buttons. Hi guys, come on in. Right, those buttons don't hurt the sheep at all. It's all about keeping that skin tight. That's very important. Left hand very busy, skin of the sheep. Now, slightly in the wrong position. My machine is over there. So what I'm going to do is use a little trick that I've learned since I've been here in the UK. Yeah. This is what happens on the coast in Norfolk and around pub closing time on Friday. Come on, dog. Actually, right, how much do you think the sheep weighs? Yeah, it's on average, at the moment, a big ewe like this would be somewhere in the region of 120 kilos. Okay, that's a weight, which is why you've got to keep her comfortable. Because if this animal decides it's had enough and starts going, she weighs more than I do, right? I'm just going to be a Klingon on her back. She's going to be running across the stage and hanging on for dear life. So, now when you shear, you always start with a belly. Oh, there you go. Well, you start with a brisket up here, actually, and then you get into the belly. Oh, just like that. And you do this first for a very good reason. Right, this stuff, you keep it separate. Right, the wool from the belly here. Why are you so sticky? This funny. This wool here gets turned into a useful product, but it's not quite as valuable as the rest. Right, this becomes felt. Now, I'm sure most of you know what felt is, but for those of you that don't, sorry, stop for a moment. A little bit of oil on that. Sheep have got a wonderful product that I'll talk about in a little while. That if it doesn't actually heat up properly, that can be what's called stick, which means my machine's been struggling through. So, a little bit of oil to help me on. Now, you always do this bit first, because it gets into the felt, like I said. So the next time you're using a felt tip pen, right, or playing pool, or snooker, this is what you're playing on. It's the smelly bits of a sheep, right? In fact, just when we get down here into the bikini line area, there might be a couple of bits to show you. Oh, yes, there you go. Get that off. Right, now, this, that is what's called a Klingon. This is what happens if you don't use toilet paper. Horrible smelly stuff. And I'll tell you something else, Mom and Dad will hear you coming because it rattles when you run. So that's why you keep it separate. Can't put it in with the rest of the wool. Now, look, lady, she doesn't really need that much of a clean up down here on the bikini line. She's not in a bad state. But, you know, summer is here, or you might be going on holiday. If you think I'm doing a good job, just come and see me after the show. I'm at 50p today. Show special. You know, I'm not too fussed, I can probably give you the 50p. Perfectly alright. Now, I'm just using that little button, lock the leg in place there, right, which means that I can bravely go, and no man has gone before, without worrying about it too much. All the way down. Now, she's a big sheep, so I'm really having to stretch to get down there. So what you want to do is get all the way past the tail there, just like that. And then I'm going to put that back, which is a bit shy, and I can come up to my next position. So just start working your way up the neck of the sheep. So, as I'm giving her a haircut, I'm just going to tell you a bit of a story about sheep and wool, because what a lot of people don't realise is that those two things don't actually go together the way most people think they do. Right, now when Mother Nature made this animal, it only ever grew an inch to an inch and a half of wool. That was it. They looked far more like a goat. In fact, Mother Nature only ever made 5 breeds of sheep. Now, we took the original 5 breeds and have turned them into almost 800 around the world today through a process called selective breeding. Now, why have we done that? Well, it's because we liked this product called wool so much that we grew it longer and longer and longer on the back of sheep. So the original sheep only ever grew an inch to an inch and a half of wool. Right, that was it. Now, what they also used to do is molt. So we wanted more wool. So we grew longer. But that's not all. What we also did is take away this animal's ability to molt. Right, they can no longer shed its own wool. If we don't give it a haircut, they'll just get longer and longer and longer until she looks a little bit like a big ball of candy floss or something like that. Now you might think, what's the problem? Guys, I'm really afraid to say that wool on our sheep today is actually the second biggest killer of our sheep, right? After the barbecue, of course. Now how does wool kill a sheep? Well, we can do it 2 ways. The first way is this girl can actually get stuck on her back, right? Now if she does get stuck on her back, a fox, or a crow, or even a seagull finds it, before the farmer does, that's all over, really over. But the biggest killer of our sheep with this wool is something called a fly. And if a fly finds this girl with this wool on it, and lays its little babies in there, which you might have heard of, with maggots, that will kill a sheep in under a week. Right? Horrible, horrible, horrible. And that's because of this unnatural wool. So that's the moral of the story. We've put the wool on it. It's up to us to take that wool. Now I'm taking my time here because I did say it's a bit sticky, and I'll explain about that in a moment. But what it means is the wool is actually pulling the skin out. So if I just went through like that, I take the skin off. So it's very important. This thing is sharp. Pay attention to what you're doing. You're doing this for the benefit of the sheep, right? So take your time about it with these big animals. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the world records in shearing and how fast people can do it and all that stuff, right? Guys, the world record at the moment of shearing a sheep in New Zealand is 17 seconds. Okay, for a whole sheep. But they cheat a little bit because what they don't tell you is they actually have a guy out the back of the shed who does all the smelly bits first before he gets on stage. Now, the record that I really count is the Scottish one, because they do the whole sheep, and the record there at the moment, 28 seconds. Right? That's beginning to end, catching the sheep as well. Very, very, very impressive. Now, in numbers, in a 9-hour working day, right, the world record in numbers here, 870. Right, which equates to a sheep every 40 to 45 seconds. Right? Now, that all sounds great, doesn't it? But it's got to be the right sort of sheep. And those ones were lambs. So a bit easier to handle, a bit smaller, nowhere near as big as this. Now, I know it's a lovely